as they say, that we can't do two things at once, that we can't have this type of position. But I want people to also understand and identify with what's going on, and the fact that it's getting look at the conversations that you're hearing, that maybe we should not be, maybe we can't help Ukraine. I believe that I think that this is all connected, right? Keep in mind who's working together. And who's working together is definitely, it's Putin, it's China, and it's Iran. And it does no good to try to pretend that those individuals are not working together and that they want to go after us. Folks, this portion of our program brought to you by AJ Drywall, Plasters, and Home Improvement. Call them today, 401-323-9252. Frame to finish basements. Or they can do new homes, additions. Maybe you have an unfinished basement or an unfinished garage. AJ Drywall, Plasters, and Home Improvement. Call them today. Free quote, serving Rhode Island and Southeastern Mass. Call them at 401-323-9252. 401-323-9252. AJ Drywall, Plasters, and Home Improvement. Folks, call them. They can, at least give them a chance to pitch your business and give them a chance to show you and demonstrate what they could do for your home. Folks, AJ Drywall, Plasters, and Home Improvement. Call them today, 401-323-9252. Okay, now we had a little bit of a technical glitch which can happen. And I believe now we are back, part of our YouTube thing. When I first set up and figured we'd do this, it was kind of cloudy. Not cloudy, but the sun wasn't directly on it. And I want to apologize to everybody because now suddenly the our system, because the sun was beating right down on it, our system overheated. So folks, again, it can be a challenge when we try different things. Technology can be a challenge sometimes. We don't get discouraged by it. It's always a little bit of a learning process. But here we are right now at 12:33, and you're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Let me just get that out. Again, sorry about that, everybody. My goodness, folks, the things that happen when you're trying something different. Now, I also want to make mention, and the piece in the Johnston Sun about the feud going on with Governor McKee and the mayor of Johnston. It's pretty remarkable with Mayor Policina. I don't know him that well. I'd like to get to know him. I thought the piece about it that happened and that demonstrates their feud in the Johnston Sun. I had a back in May when we had, there was the big shooting in Johnston. But that's a pretty solid story. The one thing that I think is different is he's carrying. I'll tell you the problem with the story that I saw was he mentions someone who indirectly is connected to McKee, who was challenging the mayor with the whole thing. So, and it's not illustrated and brought out. And that's the part of the story. But I don't blame, Mayor Policina, that is a huge feud going on. I just don't remember the last time we've had something like that, where it's a father and son, and you have a sitting governor. All right, stay on track. Folks, good afternoon. It's Thursday. It's October 12th. You're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. This portion of our program is brought to you by Scalp Masters. Call Scalp Masters today. Men, women experiencing hair loss or thinning of hair. They're based right in Cranston. Call Michael for a free consultation. 401 867 1097. 401 867 1097. Scalp Masters, and learn about their micropigmentation. Again, if you're listening right now, and it can be for men or women experiencing hair loss or thinning of hair, call Scalp Masters today. 401 867 1097. And Michael is so knowledgeable, it's a free consultation. So right now, wherever you are, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, and we have the link on Facebook to our YouTube link, or maybe you're listening on AM 1380 or 99.9 FM, Michael is the founder locally. It's a non-invasive cosmetic procedure. Scalp Masters. Now, again, you can also check out their website, scalpmastersri.com. Scalp Masters, micropigmentation and hair restoration services. Men, women, whether it's you or maybe it is a spouse. Scalp Masters. Take advantage. Free consultation. You're going to look younger. You're going to feel better. Call Michael today. He's right in Cranston, 401 867 1097 for Scalp Masters. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePetro Show. Now, tomorrow's a big day where Hamas is calling for a global day of jihad. Gaza in darkness. I think it's interesting where they're saying a new world order. Saudi prince and Iran president hold call on war. I don't know what to make of these allegations. Egypt warned Israel 3 days prior to the attack. I don't know what to make of that. I'm hearing it just like everybody else. I mentioned last hour, Trump praises Hezbollah as very smart. I don't understand that type of talk. I don't like this business that we ever praise the enemy. They're not worthy of it. I don't know how smart it is to go and attack and kill innocent civilians. The adjective I would use wouldn't be smart. President Trump last night, I was shocked hearing his words because he was slamming Israel and he was slamming Netanyahu. But I don't understand, because then he was on the Brian Kilmeade radio show, I believe, and he was saying we need to stand with Israel. So I'm not sure what to make of that. When it comes to President Trump, a lot of times I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I just have this, and maybe it's me, folks, because I know there's a lot of Trump supporters. Every time you mention President Trump, people start attacking Biden. I never like this, but Biden, and you're missing the point. I just don't understand this business where he's praising terrorist organization and, they're smart. And they're why would you? I think you condemn what they did. I don't think that's smart. Murdering, decapitating infants? Were the Nazis smart? I don't understand that. Saddam Hussein gassed his own people. Was he smart? Bin Laden put people on airplanes to fly them into buildings to kill the people on board. I wouldn't describe them as smart. No. Demented, evil, deranged, like Craig Price. I don't think of him as, you gotta give him, he's shrewd, he's smart. No, he killed 2 women and 2 children, 4 altogether. That's not the adjective I would use. Fox poll, Biden edges out Trump, loses to DeSantis or Haley. I think that's something to watch. I think that's something. When Hamas vows to broadcast hostage executions, I'll tell you what else I find disturbing. And folks, I'm not going to run away from it. Um, I just picture. I don't understand because President Trump basically lives in Palm Beach. And Palm Beach has a huge Jewish population. A lot of his donors have been Jewish. A lot of his supporters have been Jewish. I don't understand the praising. But what I think is, what about there are Americans killed and hostages over there. And you hear someone running for president, and the animals and savages that have killed them or taken them hostage, and you hear them being praised. They're shrewd, right? You got to hand it to Hamas. They're smart. No, they're not smart. How is that smart? I saw one of them being interviewed, and they were asking them to try to explain why they did what they did to infants and children in the kibbutz. No, I don't think they're smart. And where I'm maybe different, now granted, Brian Kilmeade, who I was with last week, he runs a show, but you have these different Republican, GOP-friendly, right-wing commentators that would listen to that. It's just like they were the two guys that took over Russia's spot who were just nodding along when President Trump was saying that Putin was smart. I don't know. It could be me. I just have a mental block whenever the enemy is being praised in that way, and in such a demented way, right? We're not talking about, boy, they're very cunning military strategists. You're talking about barbaric, inhumane actions taken by delusional, deranged individuals. No, I would not. I wouldn't call them. I would never use the word smart in talking about them. I would not. Folks, good afternoon at 12:42. I don't know what to make of that. I don't. I don't want to focus too much because then I'm surprised that he did say the right things on the Brian Kilmeade show. And then as a member of the Rhode Island Coalition for Israel, the people that I were talking to and became friendly with were all Trump supporters. So I don't know what to make of that. But why you would use that platform to start attacking Israel and complimenting the deranged nature of the terrorism that was committed. I felt the same way when, Bill Maher got fired from ABC, Politically Incorrect, when Bill Maher said, well, one thing about the hijackers, at least they were brave. They, flew in. That's actually not true. The muscle, they thought it was just a regular hijacking. They didn't know. It was only like the pilots. There was only a few deranged of the 19 that fully knew what was going to happen. Folks, this portion of our program on this Thursday, it's brought to you by AtMed Urgent Care. Walk-in urgent care center, all your medical needs. Now, again, they're located Atwood Avenue in Johnston in the Atwood Medical Center and 5750 Post Road, East Greenwich. They're open 7 days a week. When you need urgent care and you don't want to wait, I implore you to go to AtMed Urgent Care. 7 days a week, doctors and nurses, to see you just like that. AtMed Urgent Care. By the way, there's a lot of people that are sick right now. There's a lot of people. There's definitely something going around. And instead of just suffering at home or figuring, it'd be a long wait in the emergency room, AtMed Urgent Care. Well, folks, again, good afternoon. I realize it is true. The news is pretty grim. And then you have some of these, individuals locally, bomb threats. Tomorrow could be an interesting day where, what about this? There's a new indictment charge. New indictment charges Senator Menendez being an unregistered agent of the Egyptian government. I think a lot of that needs to be examined. Anyone that had access to intelligence and Israeli intelligence, in my mind, needs to be looked at and examined. Anthony Blinken vows U.S. support for Israel ahead of possible ground operation as strikes pound Gaza. It's going to get brutal. We know the, I believe, SEAL team is on the ground. They have, they're going to do everything in possible to try to get those hostages out. I don't know. U.S. has no conditions how Israel uses American-provided munitions. That's really important because with the way that this thing could go, this is gonna it's ironic. This is gonna get very bad and I think complicated for the Democrat Party. Now let me just see this. This is all just being posted. A criminal complaint has been sought against, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, folks. 3 Rhode Island men in the fight that ended in the death of the Patriots fan at Gillette Stadium. Foxborough police, criminal complaint, 3 men from Rhode Island, ended with the death of Dale Mooney, who collapsed September 17th fight in the stands during that Patriots game at Gillette, later died. But they're still not putting out the names. But it sure sounds they know who they have here. So now I believe tomorrow we're going to speak with our expert, attorney Tim Dodd. So we'll get more on that. But folks, make no mistake about it. I think that's interesting that in this new Fox poll, Biden edges out Trump but loses to DeSantis or Nikki Haley. I don't know. I want to repeat. I don't know what to make of. To me, there's only. I'm especially President Trump was the one that he was seen as a big ally to Israel. I'm puzzled by this, but at the same time, I'm also puzzled at Tucker Carlson trying to equate with fentanyl, people dying from fentanyl, with what happened in Israel. I don't see any connection. President Biden edged out former President Trump in a poll released this week, leading by just 1 point. I mean, Biden-Harris can't continue. Biden's support is 45 to 49% against each Republican. DeSantis has a 2-point edge over Biden, and Nikki Haley beats him by 4 points. Now, again, I recognize right now that everyone is saying that President Trump is the person. I want to see what happens when he eventually gets up on a debate stage. And I want to be very clear. If it's a choice between President Trump or President Biden, I'm voting for President Trump. But I'm at a loss to explain some of the actions and comments. But despite all the problems, Trump is still leading the GOP primary field. 59%. DeSantis is 13%. Haley's at 10%. Vivek Ramaswamy is at 7%. Mike Pence, Chris Christie, Tim Scott, less than 5%. What to make of Tim Scott? I mean, listen, those 3 are not in it. But I think it would be interesting, a DeSantis-Haley ticket. I think that would cut across party lines. So if you compare it, Biden-Trump, I don't even think that's a question, right? We can't continue down the path we are. We can't continue with that. But at the same token, let's see what happens should he eventually go onto a debate stage. Folks, this is the John DePetro show on this Thursday. And again, I know we're trying something differently with everybody on YouTube. And we had a minor misfire earlier where because of the sun it overheated a little bit. I think we're fine now. Our Facebook has been expanding so much. I'd been in touch with some of the YouTube people, wanted us to do some YouTube live. And so the idea is to combine and build bigger audiences on both. This portion of our program, folks, is brought to you by Shappa Insurance Agency. Now listen, whoever you are, whether it's personal or business, you need to make sure that you have proper insurance. Shappa Insurance Agency. Call them today. Remember, and I like their slogan, neighbor, partner, and friend. Shappa Insurance Agency, serving Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Call them today for a free consultation. Shappa Insurance Agency, 401 900 INSU. 401 900 INSU. Shappa Insurance Agency. They're right in Cranston. You can find them. They're right on Reservoir Avenue. It's really simple. Why not take advantage of a free consultation? Rhode Island or Massachusetts, Shappa Insurance Agency. Sit down with Stephen and let him map out and show you what your options are. So whether it's for your home or auto, got to have car insurance, or renter's insurance, a lot of people are realizing, or business insurance, or flood insurance. Shappa Insurance Agency. And I love their slogan, neighbor, partner, friend. Stephen is very knowledgeable. Today on this Thursday, very few people are offering you anything free. I am. Free consultation. Shappa Insurance Agency. 1-900 INSU or 4678. Online at shappainsurance.com. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, you're listening to the John DePetro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. I did hear from people that said, wow, look at that. Channel 10 is finally doing a story on a state senator who has essentially come out and said, I'm not neutral. I'm not with Israel. And Black Lives Matter. And I would just say that, listen, better late than never. So any attention on that. The Democrat Party, as we have been talking about, the Democrat Party needs to, the reason why in Rhode Island now, they haven't been able to offer blanket support against the terrorism in Israel. The main reason is because they can't get everybody on the same page. Many Democrats in the state side, sadly, with the Palestinians and Hamas against the people of Israel. That's the Democrat Party. I believe it's an opportunity for the Republican Party to shine. I think it's an opportunity for Gary Leonard in CD1 to shine, to show that Gabe Ammo, who's running for that CD1 seat, and the election's coming up in November, there he is. He won't call out Senator Mack. He won't call out the squad. As a matter of fact, he posed and was in Massachusetts with the squad. Now you have this man in custody called in a bomb threat, Temple Bethel. 65-year-old Vincent Johnston was arrested. I believe he's from Pawtucket. Bomb threat, false reporting disorderly conduct. Called and started making threats to a temple in Providence. Who do you think he's a supporter of Senator Mack? Absolutely a supporter of Senator Mack. Now, if you have URI students that are going to hold a vigil for Israel, and then you have students at Harvard that are siding against Israel. I believe this business of people saying, don't even pay attention to the Palestinian demonstrations, I disagree with that. Don't even pay attention to the words of some of these college students. It's frightening what's happening on many of these college campuses. But folks, make no mistake about it. This is terrorism. As I have said, now in the past, when he was on Fox on a pretty regular basis, I used to use sound and play of Tucker Carlson, especially when it came to the border. He was accused of the replacement theory, but that's basically what was happening with a lot of voters in Rhode Island. I was in communication with his team, and everything when he went after Cicilline was right on the money. But quite frankly, I don't understand the timing of Tucker Carlson trying to minimize what happened. That's like the thing. People die every day. People die in car accidents. People are ODing on fentanyl. This is an act of terror on an ally. And by the way, also, you have 22 Americans. The lives of 22 Americans. That's what makes this different. As I said earlier, I'm at a loss that President Trump does a rally in all places in South Florida, West Palm Beach. He lives in Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago, and starts attacking and mocking Israeli military, and then starts complimenting the terror. I don't know what to make of that. I don't like it, right? But I'm not sure what to make of that. Now, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePetro Show. Who sent me the email? Henry. Henry sent me an email. Dear Juan, I listen to you each day, and it turns out our hot water heater kicked. My wife said she was listening to your program when she was on Mendon Road and said you mentioned a plumber that you would recommend. Could you repeat that? Yes. JMB Plumbing. Call them, Henry. Plumbing Repair and Service. 401-743-9153. They'll repair damaged water pipes. They'll repair clogged pipelines. They will replace your water heater. JMB Plumbing. Plumbing Repair and Service. They're dependable. They're reliable. They specialize in all plumbing, heating, drain cleaning. You know what it is? It's problem solving. Emergency service, on demand, 5-star reviews for a reason. JMB Plumbing. Call them today, 401-743-9153. And I share their Facebook page. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. I think Governor Haley, I've agreed more with her position than with President Trump. Ambassador Haley, Nikki Haley. Governor Ron DeSantis, I kind of counted him out. I didn't think he was making much headway. But I agree more with his position than with President Trump. So am I just angry or uncomfortable with President Trump complimenting the terrorist? Yes, as a matter of fact. Yes. And to be standing up there and telling this long, rambling story about and knocking the Israeli military, I'm at a loss for that. I was puzzled. I have to get off social media at night because it's causing me sleepless nights. I get so upset about it. Like, what are they talking about? I want to be very clear about this, folks. And you may disagree, obviously, but I don't view this as, well, there's two sides to every story. I don't view this as, well, you got to look at, but the Israeli... Anyone that says that is not listening to the terrorist actions that have been taken, the terrorist actions that have been carried out. There's no justification. And I know that people say, I'm not justifying, but then there's always a but. This crosses a line. I didn't think we'd hear stuff like this. It's hard to believe this is going on in 2023. Now, here's what we're going to do. Folks, we're going to break for the 1 o'clock news. Everybody on YouTube Live, I think we're going to try it again later. Make sure you follow our YouTube page, John DePetro Show. We're going to break for the 1 o'clock news next hour. Dan McGowan of the Boston Globe, he's going to talk about this feud in Johnston between Governor McKee and the Mayor of Johnston, Policina, and a lot more. Right now, though, on this Thursday, October 12th, let's break for the 1 o'clock news. Another full hour to go on the John DePetro Show.